welcome to your deep dive today.
Oh, cool.
We're going to Cuba,
Nice.
but not for the beaches or anything like that.
No.
It's going to be much more fascinating.
Okay.
We're diving into the hearts and minds of Cuban youth.
That's interesting.
We've got a lot of sources,
Covered?
stories straight from young Cubans,
You got you.
articles that dissect their impact,
Interest.
even some echoes from history that link the past and the present.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a time-traveling treasure hunt
Okay.
to figure out how these young voices see themselves shaping Cuba's future.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's really captivating to me is the chance to go beyond just the headlines
Yeah.
and really hear what these young people are saying,
Yeah.
not just about their dreams,
Right.
but about how they see themselves fitting into this unique moment in Cuba's story.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into this article from UNICEF called Who Are the Young People of Today? A Generation Without Limits.
Right.
It's full of quotes from young Cubans. And, it's not all just sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
They're realistic about the challenges,
Yeah.
but there's this underlying current of I don't know, maybe like a defiant hope.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like what Mag Denny, the 18-year-old, says. Young people are the agents of change.
Right.
But then you think about that in the context of Cuba's political system. It's
Yeah.
not a simple statement.
Yeah.
It's like a declaration of agency within a system
Right.
that's been really tightly controlled for decades.
Yeah, it's like saying we may not have all the power,
Right.
but we're going to make our voices heard.
Exactly.
And then there's Yaislin, the journalist.
Okay.
She reminds us that young people have always been at the forefront of change.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder, what will this generation's mark on Cuban society be?
It does.
Right.
And it's not just these abstract ideas either.
Yeah.
We get these specific human moments too, like Carlos, the 22-year-old, who talks about how youth drive evolution everywhere they are, from
Yeah.
universities to the workforce.
Mm.
And Roxana, the actress,
Mm-hmm.
emphasizes how important it is to share stories to inspire other people.
Yeah, it's like they're creating this ripple effect of change just by sharing their experiences and perspectives.
Exactly.
They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible in Cuba.
Yeah.
And it's not even all just about politics.
Right.
It's about them using their talents to actually make a difference.
Like Anthony, the singer,
Yeah.
he uses his music to promote positive change.
Yes, and Luis, the 16-year-old, is already an activist,
Wow.
tackling global issues like climate change.
These young people are clearly very engaged with both the local and the global.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how does this individual drive
Yeah.
connect to the official narrative that's coming from the Cuban government?
Well, we've also got these articles, La Juventud Cubana, protagonista del presente y semilla del futuro. La juventud convoca. Crecer con futuro.
Okay.
And the government really leans into this whole idea of young people as the inheritors of the revolutionary legacy.
Interesting.
It's like they're saying, you're the chosen ones, destined to carry the torch.
It's a powerful message, right?
It is.
There's this one quote from one of the articles that really stood out to me.
Yep.
Believing in young people is trusting in their purity, heroism, and capacity to take on great challenges.
Yeah.
It's almost like a romanticized ideal of youth.
It's a lot of pressure, wouldn't you say?
It is.
But on the other hand, it does show
Yeah,
a recognition of the potential and power of this generation.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just empty rhetoric.
Right.
The article, Una política para el futuro del país, it outlines the government's new policy for youth development.
Okay.
They're talking about creating better conditions,
Right.
focusing on participation and protection,
Yeah.
acknowledging the diverse needs of young Cubans.
There's a tangible effort to back up the talk with action. It seems like they're trying to create a framework where young people can thrive and contribute and essentially become those inheritors of the revolution
Right.
that they keep talking about.
And it's interesting to see how this plays out in reality,
Yeah.
because we also have this Facebook post, Los jóvenes son la esperanza del mundo,
Okay.
which throws some international perspectives into the mix.
This is where it gets juicy.
Oh,
The post itself is pretty standard,
okay.
talking about the global challenges faced by youth everywhere,
Right.
climate change and inequality.
Yeah.
But the comments section, oh boy, that's where the real tea is spilled. You've got some commenters echoing the official line,
Okay.
praising Cuban youth and their potential.
Yeah.
But then you've got others expressing skepticism,
Right.
pointing out the very real challenges that they face.
Like what?
Things like economic hardship,
Uh-huh.
political restrictions, and limited opportunities.
Wow.
One comment even mentions that many young Cubans are planning to leave the country for a better future. It paints a more complex picture, wouldn't you say?
It does. It kind of highlights this tension between the official narrative,
Right.
which is very optimistic and future-focused,
Yeah.
and the lived reality of a lot of young Cubans who are dealing with very real struggles in the present.
Totally.
It seems that while the government is trying to cultivate this sense of hope and responsibility,
Yeah.
there's a segment of the youth who are looking for more concrete solutions and opportunities, even if it means looking beyond Cuba's borders.
Which makes you wonder, how does this current situation connect to the historical legacy of figures like Fidel Castro and Julio Antonio Mella?
Ooh.
I mean, these are giants of the Cuban Revolution.
Right.
What would they make of the dreams and challenges of young Cubans today? That's where these articles, Fidel, los sueños y el futuro, and Mella y el sentido de la vida, come into play.
Right.
They give us a glimpse into the past, which, can sometimes illuminate the present.
Exactly. And it's not just dry history here.
Right.
We get this incredible anecdote about a young journalist meeting Fidel Castro back in 2010.
Wow.
I mean, this is years after Castro's illness.
Yeah.
And he's still engaging with young people,
Right.
sharing his vision for the future.
And it's not all warm and fuzzy reminiscing either.
No.
He uses this moment to warn about the threat of nuclear war,
Oh, wow.
the importance of preparing for challenges.
Makes you think,
Yeah.
what would Fidel say to these young Cubans today
Right.
who are grappling with economic uncertainty and political limitations
Yeah.
and, the allure of leaving their homeland?
Exactly. It's like he's passing the torch,
Yeah.
but also acknowledging the weight of that responsibility.
Right. And then we have Julio Antonio Mella.
Yeah.
He might not be a household name for everybody,
Right.
but he was a key figure in the Cuban Revolution, a champion for youth empowerment and social justice.
Yeah, his famous quote, "All future time has to be better." It still resonates today,
It does.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially considering the complexities of his life. I mean, he was expelled from the Communist Party
Wow.
and later assassinated. Talk about a life of struggle.
Yeah.
But even with that, his belief in progress in a better future continues to inspire.
Well, his story, like so many others, reminds us that progress isn't this straight line.
Right.
It's messy.
Wow.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
And often it comes at a price.
Yeah.
Yet it's that unwavering belief in a better future
Yeah.
that fuels the desire for change.
And there's this line about Mella
Yeah.
really stuck with me.
Okay.
His life is a model of virtuous synthesis. Not only is he a renovator of the main issues and challenges of his time, but also of the methods to face them.
Powerful.
He wasn't just about ideals.
Right.
He was about finding practical ways to make those ideals a reality.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what methods would Mella advocate for today,
Right.
given the challenges faced by young Cubans?
Yeah. Would he encourage them to work within the system,
Right.
to push for reform from within?
Yeah.
Or would he see emigration as a valid path to a better life? Tough questions.
They are.
And honestly, I don't know if we have the answers,
Right.
but what I do know
Yeah.
is that the spirit of these historical figures,
Mm-hmm.
their passion,
Right.
their commitment to a better future,
Yeah.
it's something that is still alive
Yeah.
in the young Cubans we've been learning about.
Absolutely. It's like their legacy lives on,
Yeah.
not just in statues and speeches,
Right.
but in the hearts and minds of a new generation.
So we've got these young voices
Okay.
full of hope and ambition,
Yeah.
but also facing very real challenges.
Right.
We've got the government
Mm-hmm.
pushing this narrative of youth as the inheritors of the revolution,
Right.
but also enacting policies that can feel restrictive.
Yeah.
And then we've got this historical backdrop, these
Yeah.
echoes of revolutionary figures who fought for a better future,
Right.
but whose methods might not be directly applicable to the complexities of today.
It's interesting.
What does it all mean? What's the takeaway for our listener?
I think the takeaway is that Cuba is at a crossroads,
Okay.
and the direction it takes will depend largely on how these different forces interact and ultimately shape the future.
It's almost like a recipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got all these ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
each with its own unique flavor and texture,
Yeah.
and it's the way they're combined,
Right.
the proportions,
Yeah.
the cooking process,
Yeah.
that ultimately determines the final dish.
And that's where the agency of young people comes in.
Right.
They're not just passive ingredients in this recipe.
Right.
They're the chefs,
Okay.
the ones who have the power to influence how these different elements come together.
And their choices,
Right.
their actions,
Yeah.
will ultimately determine the flavor of Cuba's future.
Oh,
Will it be a dish that's spicy and bold,
okay.
reflecting a break from the past?
Right.
Or will it be something more familiar,
Yeah.
a continuation of the traditional flavors?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe to be something entirely new,
Okay.
a fusion of old and new, a blend of tradition and innovation.
That's the beauty of it, isn't
Yeah.
it? The future is unwritten,
Right?
and it's up to this generation of young Cubans to decide what kind of story they want to tell.
And that brings us back to you, our listener.
Right.
Knowing what you now know about the hopes,
Yeah.
the challenges,
Yeah.
the historical context,
Yeah.
what do you think the future holds for the use of Cuba?
Yeah.
What impact might they have not just on their own nation, but on the world? It's
Yeah.
a question worth thinking about,
It is.
because their story isn't just about Cuba.
Right.
It's a microcosm of the challenges and opportunities that young people are facing all over the world.
Yeah, we've talked about some big themes here that
Right.
resonate far beyond Cuba's borders. The
Mhm.
search for identity,
Yeah,
purpose,
right.
the struggle for economic stability,
Uh,
the desire for a voice in shaping the future.
Yeah.
These are universal aspirations.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what can we as individuals learn from the experiences of these young Cubans?
Right.
What insights can we apply to our own lives,
Yeah.
our own communities?
Well, one thing that really strikes me is their resilience.
Yeah.
Despite facing some very real challenges,
Right.
they haven't given up on their dreams.
So,
They're finding these creative ways to express themselves, to make a difference,
yeah.
to build a better future,
Right.
even within a system that can sometimes feel limiting.
It's inspiring.
It is.
It reminds us that we all have the power to create change,
Exactly.
no matter where we are or what our circumstances are.
And it highlights how important it is to listen to diverse voices,
Yeah.
to seek out those perspectives that challenge our assumptions and broaden our understanding of the world.
Like those comments on that Facebook post.
Exactly.
Some were full of praise.
Right.
Others had concerns.
Yeah.
But hearing both sides gives us a much more nuanced and ultimately a much more accurate picture of the situation.
It does, and that's crucial.
Yeah.
Not just for understanding Cuba,
Right.
but for just navigating the complexities of this world that's increasingly interconnected.
Yeah.
We need to be willing to engage with different viewpoints,
Right.
to have those tough conversations, to
Yeah.
step outside our echo chambers.
Because we're all in this together.
We are.
The challenges facing young Cubans,
Yeah.
whether it's climate change or inequality
Uh-huh.
or the struggle for self-expression,
Right.
these are all challenges that affect all of us,
Yeah.
one way or another.
They do, and their solutions,
Yeah.
their innovations, their
Uh-huh.
triumphs
Mhm.
can inspire and inform our own efforts
Yeah.
to create a more just and sustainable world.
It's like that saying, think globally, act locally.
It is.
By learning about other people's experiences,
Mhm.
understanding the challenges they face and the solutions they create,
Yeah,
we can gain these valuable insights that can be applied to our own communities.
exactly. And that's one of the things I love about these deep dives.
Me too.
They're not just about learning things.
Yeah.
They're about sparking those connections, those aha moments
Yeah.
that inspire us to think differently,
Uh,
to act differently,
Right.
to be better global citizens.
Well said. And I think we've covered a lot today.
We have.
From those personal stories of young Cubans
Right.
to the official narratives from the government,
Yeah.
the historical context of the revolution,
Mhm.
and the global implications of their experiences.
It's been a journey.
It has. And if there's one thing I hope you remember,
Yeah.
it's that the future is not set in stone.
No.
It's shaped by our choices and actions,
Right.
the stories that we choose to believe in.
And the young people of Cuba are writing their own story.
They are.
And it's a story that deserves our attention,
Yes.
our respect, and our support.
Beautifully put.
It's been great talking about all this with you.
Likewise. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the hearts and minds of Cuban youth.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you've gained some new insights,
Yeah.
some food for thought,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even a renewed sense of hope and possibility.
That's what it's all about.
Until next time,
Yes.
keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep those curious minds engaged.